What do you despise? By this you are truly known. From Manual of Muad'Dib by the Princess Irulan. Welcome to Reading Dune, a podcast where we read Dune by Frank Herbert and talk about it. If you're a Fremen or a first-time reader, this podcast is for you. My name is Caleb Pauls.
And I'm Evan Diaz.
And together, we are going to read some Dune.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we are, Evan. Hey, Evan, remember how the last couple episodes we've asked people to send in their favorite moments?
I sure do remember that. I'm very excited.
What I said was that if you have a favorite moment from Dune so far, we would love to hear from you. So send in an audio recording or a video, and we will play it on the show.
Right.
And guess what?
What happened?
Somebody did.
Let's go.
All right. This is Benjamin.
Hey guys, this is Benjamin. I'm in Oregon and just been listening to you guys' Spotify. Love this whole series you guys are doing. I've been a huge Dune fan since I was a child. My whole family is. We've been listening to it since we were children. I'm super excited for the new movie, and I'm kind of excited that Evan doesn't know what's going to happen next. And right now, my favorite part in book one, because I've read this book multiple times since I was a child, is when Paul comes into his power. And you know that he is no longer just Bene Gesserit, nor is he just Mentat. He is something else. And you're feeling his angst because he knows that he's something else. And that's the best part. But, Evan, you don't know what's about to come. Everyone else knows about what's to come. He's going to be more than anybody ever expected. He's not going to be the Kwisatz Haderach. He's going to be more than that. And Evan, your mom is Latina, and so I appreciate that because if you know a telenovela like anybody else, there's going to be drama to come, and you're going to appreciate that. All right? Bye.
So that was Benjamin. And so if y'all we want to know, what are some of your favorite moments? Send us a video clip, send us an audio clip. We want to know because this isn't just about Evan and I. This is about all of us. Send it in. Emails, readingdune@gmail.com.
Right. It's about the tribe. Also, I gotta say, I had this what Benjamin just said just brought my interest to a whole nother level. And it's not just what he said, oh, he's gonna be so much more than the Kwisatz Haderach, right? That's whoa. But the fact that he compared it to the drama level of a novella, uh-oh. if you know what Benjamin's talking about and what I'm talking about right now, if it's gonna get that intense and dramatic, I don't even know what to expect anymore,
We've gotten so many emails, Evan, of people saying they're so happy to watch you go through this journey because they know what's going to happen, but you don't.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like you're getting a fantastic experience by signing up to do this with me.
It's real tense, man, because we've talked about it a lot. We beat the horse to death, but I literally have no idea what's coming up next. And people will drop little context clues, or they'll say something like what Benjamin just said, or a sneaky little comment on the live stream. Don't think I didn't notice what you guys are writing there. I see it right there on my computer screen. And I'm like, oh gosh, I think I know what's going on, but also I have no expectation. I have no idea what to expect at all.
And for those of you listening, we're going live on YouTube, and you can, if you're caught up, please jump in. We do these every Thursday. So, yeah. Thank you. All right, let's jump into the chapter.
All right.
I think it was really funny that Benjamin said it's kind of like a telenovela because in the last chapter, you had Paul lay out his plan of how he's going to become the emperor of the known universe.
Right.
And in this chapter, we get Vladimir Harkonnen's plan of how his kin will be the emperor of the universe. We're going all the way to the top here.
Yeah, when I was reading that, he was like, "We will have a Harkonnen on the throne." I was like, "You just might, big baby Baron. You just might have a Harkonnen on the throne."
Little does he know it might be Paul. Bum, bum, bum.
This
All right,
freaking
so
book, man.
Let's go over this quote. What do you despise? By this you are truly known. What do you think about that one?
I hate that. I despise this quote, okay? Because it's something that's been bothering me lately. People know a lot about what we all don't like and not a whole lot about what everybody enjoys. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be known for the stuff that I hate, like I don't want my tombstone to say, "Here lies Evan Diaz. He hated country music." That's no way to live. I want like joy and love and awesomeness to be what I'm known for, not what I despise. But
I feel like
it's with the chapter,
I feel like it's like a mirroring effect. The things that really piss you off about other people are actually just the things you don't like about yourself.
Yeah.
So like when you're having a conversation with somebody and they're like, "God, they're so annoying. They're yada, yada, yada." But those are actually all the things you don't like about yourself. I feel like that's what it's kind of like leaning into a little bit.
Okay. I don't like that either, Caleb.
That's what I caught from it. Because I've had that happen to me.
Just for not having anything to do with me. I just want it.
But I agree. And people should talk about what they like. If you like Dune, you should definitely share with your friends this podcast.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Okay.
Good plug.
Last time on Reading Dune, right? So it's Liet Kynes kind of helps Paul and Jessica out. Oh no, the Sardaukar come. Oh no, Duncan has to die protecting them. As like the doors open, they see Duncan fighting, and they doors then close, and we don't know what's going to happen to Duncan. And then they run through the tunnel and they fly the ornithopter, and they have to plunge it into a storm. And of course, they're being tailed by these Harkonnens, and that's the last that we know. So evidently, that Harkonnen ornithopter flew back around, and that report of the ornithopter of Paul and Jessica going into the storm is now making its way up the food chain.
Right.
It went from person to person to person to person. And this information meets Captain Nefud as he is in the middle of a crazy drug high on his taking his music drugs. And he is interrupted. So he instantly takes the anti-drug and then runs out to the Baron's quarters. So our chapter starts with Nefud, the captain of the guard, who enters the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen's private quarters, which are at the center of the ship, which is probably at the center of the city, the place of the most protection, the absolutely safest place to be. "They are dead, Baron," the guard captain says. "Both the woman and the boy are certainly dead." And then you see the Baron sit up from his sleep suspensors in the middle of the room. Again, everything's in the center. And so he's sitting up, and then the guard captain repeats. He says, "They're dead. It's a certainty." It's like, okay. All right. The Baron shifts his gross body in his suspensors. Sleep fading from him, he straightened up the padded suspensor beneath the fat folds of his neck and stared across the single globe of his bedchamber to where the captain was. But the captain is blocked by a pentashield. Vroom, vroom. Which I think is just like a regular shield, but there's 5 layers of it. So he's on the other side of the shield, probably for his own protection at this point in time.
Pretty cool.
So he's not in the room. There's still another barrier between the Baron and everybody else. I always find that interesting because the Baron is always trying to make himself as secure as possible, whereas Paul, our other person, is diving headfirst into danger.
Right.
It's just they juxtapose each other.
Something could be said about life in there, but we'll just leave that one alone.
We will. All right. So Nefud repeats again. They're certainly dead. I have a full report. He keeps repeating this thing over and over. Again, he's just come out of this big drug high. So he's like, they're dead. They're dead. Please let me tell you, they're dead. Don't do anything. They're dead. And the Baron thinks, let him sweat a little. One must always keep the tools of statecraft sharp and ready. Power and fear sharp and ready. So the first thing the Baron says is, have you seen the bodies? Nefud twitches. Because have they found the bodies? No.
No.
So the Baron repeats the question. And so he says, Nefud says, my lord, they were seen to dive into a sandstorm. Winds over 800 kilometers. Nothing survived such a storm, my lord. Nothing. One of our own craft was destroyed in the pursuit. The Baron continues to stare and repeats the question. You have seen the bodies? And Nefud is now really sweating this one out. And he says, you just, my lord, right? And then the Baron responds, for what purpose do you come rattling your armor? Tell me a thing is certain when it is not. Do you think I'll praise you for such stupidity? Give you another promotion? Nefud went pale. The Baron thinks, look at the chicken. I'm surrounded by this useless clods. If I scattered sand before the creature and told him it was grain, he'd peck at it. The Baron is just awful. I don't know how to say it otherwise.
No, he sucks. And I was upset when I started reading this and I read the word Baron, which is like the first word in this chapter. I was like, dang it. I gotta talk to the Baron again. I'm so I'm so over the Baron.
Hello?
Hey, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I think I went out. Did you go out?
I don't know. Let's keep going.
When did I stop talking? Oh, well, okay. Well, that worked out well. I got nervous there for a little. I think I started sweating a little bit. Whew. Oh, boy. All right. So then Nefud's going to give him a play-by-play, the whole report. But he's not going to give it all at once. He's going to give it piece by piece because he's really nervous. And the Baron goes like, he's leading him on, like, just give the full report. And so the Baron has to probe him. So the man Idaho led us to him then, right? Yes, my lord. Right? And the Baron's like, oh, look, he can't say the report. He can only say, yes, my lord. What's he doing? So the Baron says, they were attempting to flee to the Fremen? Yes, my lord. And then the Baron goes, is there more to this report? Am I giving the report? Are you giving the report? How is this working? So then, of course, Nefud jumps in. The Imperial planetologist Kynes is involved, my lord. Idaho had joined Kynes under mysterious circumstances. I might even say suspicious circumstances. The Baron. So? Nefud. They fled together to the place in the desert where it's apparent the boy and his mother were hiding. In the excitement of the chase, several of our group were caught in a laser gun shield explosion. Boom! We were there for that.
Yeah. Well, we were over the hill for that.
It's true. Good thing we weren't there. We would have been blown up. But this makes Idaho has probably had a tail on him the whole time.
Right.
Which sucks. but yeah, so we all know more now. So finally, the Baron asks, well, how many did we lose? I'm not sure yet, my lord. He's lying, the Baron thought. Must have been pretty bad.
It's been pretty bad.
Oops. So now we know that so the Baron kind of thinks to himself, the Imperial lackey, this Kynes, he was playing a double game, huh? I'll stake my reputation on it, my lord. Nefud. His reputation.
His reputation. Ooh.
Well, I mean, his reputation is being in the right place at the right time. Like,
Right.
he just happened to be not dead. And that's why he's captain.
Yep.
So the Baron says, have the man killed. If he's playing a double game, kill him.
Right.
My lord, Kynes is the Imperial planetologist. And then the Baron, the most Harkonnens thing ever, will then make it look like an accident.
Okay.
But Kynes is with the Sardaukar, and that is going to prove a problem for Nefud.
Right.
Because they're Sardaukar. How do we then? And let's just say the last time the Sardaukar gave the Harkonnens somebody, it would be Duke Leto, and he ended up having an accident. So you would think they would be less apt to give people up.
Right. And like, how many accidents can they actually get away with? You know, like realistically, even with all the corruption and all the plans within plans, how many accidents can happen to like very key people in this whole thing before the Emperor actually does something?
A lot.
Okay. That's upsetting. Okay, let's keep going then, I guess.
So Nefud asks how he should get Kynes away from the Sardaukar, and then informs the Baron that the Sardaukar have also captured somebody else. My lord, the Sardaukar there are two persons in your custody that might interest you. They've caught the Duke's master of assassins. Bum bum bum. Howat, Thufir Howat. I've seen the captain myself, my lord. 'Tis Howat. And the Baron, I'd not believed it's possible. He's overjoyed.
Yeah,
Because this is some big news here.
I read that sentence a couple times just to make sense of it. I'd not have believed it, but I'd not have believed.
You got it, yeah.
I would not have believed it. I would not have. That's crazy. That's a weird way to say that, but I'm cool.
It's the future, man. They speak weird.
Right. That makes sense.
And so Nefud's like, yeah, we caught the Mentat. It should be some good sport. And the Baron growls. One does not waste a Mentat. Has he spoken? What does he say of his defeat? Could he know the extent of? But no. And then Nefud says, he's spoken only, if my lord, to believe that the Lady Jessica is his betrayer. And the Baron sinks back into his seat thinking, perfect. So then the Baron says, well, let's make sure that he doesn't know she's dead or in the storm. Make sure we know she's alive. And I want you to treat Howat extremely kindly. He's to be told nothing of the late Dr. Yueh. What did we say? Dr. Yueh died defending his duke. In a way, this may even be true. We will instead feed his suspicions against the Lady Jessica. My lord, the way to control and direct a Mentat Nefud is through his information. False information, false results. And so then the Baron says, is Howat hungry? Is he thirsty? My lord, Howat's still in the hands of the Sardaukar. Yes, indeed, but the Sardaukar will be anxious to get information from Howat. So then the Baron says that he wants that they should tell the Sardaukar that the Baron would wish again. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. It's okay.
I think we're good.
I'll start my sentence over again.
Yeah.
So embarrassing. Okay. The Baron wishes to question Hawat and Kynes at the same time to play one off the other to gain information. And then, once they leave Sardaukar hands, there will be an accident. Another emergency will pop up. And that's when Nefud, he gets it. He goes, oh, I understand. That's when Kynes will have his accident. And the Baron's like, no, they'll both have accidents. We want the Sardaukar to believe Hawat to be dead as well, but he's to be given food and drink, treated with kindness and sympathy. And in the water, you'll give him a residual poison developed by the late Peter de Vries. And you, personally, will see that the antidote becomes a regular part of Hawat's diet from this point on, unless I say otherwise. The antidote, yes, Nefud shook his head, but don't be dense, Nefud. The Duke almost killed me with that poison capsule tooth. The gas he exhaled in my presence deprived me of my most valuable mentat. Peter, I need a replacement. So he's like, wait, Hawat will be the new mentat? And so Baron reads his mind and pretty much says, you're going to say Hawat was completely loyal to the Atreides, but the Atreides are dead. We will woo the formidable Thufir Hawat. And Nefud at this point, I think it's just a plot device to just keep the Baron talking.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't understand. So then the Baron elaborates more that Hawat, unfortunately, had a master who had small resources and could not elevate the mentat to the sublime peaks of reasoning that are every mentat's wish and right to have good information. The Duke could not afford the most efficient spies to provide the best information. But let us never deceive ourselves, Nefud. The truth is a powerful weapon. We know how we overwhelmed the Atreides. Hawat knows it too. We did it with wealth. And that's what we see Hawat, when the last time we saw him, he was like stunned at the amount of wealth.
Right.
They had to drop that many ships to make it happen. So the Baron's suggesting that Hawat knows this, that they have all this wealth. So we'll just pin him against Lady Jessica and say Lady Jessica was it, and that he must have his revenge against her, and he will continue to work for the Harkonnens as long as they keep him alive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm having a hard time seeing this working, but I also have no idea what's going to happen. I'm like, would Hawat fall for that? Because the only stupid thing he's done so far is distrust Lady Jessica. But he's been a pretty smart guy this whole time, you know? Is he gonna fall for something that blatantly obvious, like, oh, I'm a prisoner and now they're giving me like donuts and stuff? Like, come on. I know what's happening here.
Yeah, you would think that he would know what's happening, but I think they have him so far confused that they'll just keep feeding him false information, and he'll continue to make up false results in his head to what he think is true.
That makes sense, unfortunately.
And this makes the Baron's day, because let's be honest, he's had a pretty bad day so far.
Yeah.
Minus, he took the planet, but he lost his mentat. He lost Paul and Jessica. He almost got killed. He lost the Duke in a way, didn't want to lose him. It was just, all around not the best day for him. So getting a mentat back would be a win. Especially one of the most formidable mentats in all of history. A mentat trained to kill. And this is where the Baron thinks, like, I'll show you how to wield a mentat. this is how we're gonna do it. But I like how the thing that the Baron uses to keep Howat on a leash is the poison.
Right.
It's the idea that they'll keep feeding him the antidote to the poison. So if they ever stop or he tries to run away, he'll just die. And he says, the Baron says that the absence of a thing can be just as deadly as a presence of the thing.
Yeah.
The absence of air, the absence of water, the absence of anything else you're addicted to. The Baron nodded. You understand me, Nefud? This is Nefud, the addict. It nods aggressively. Yes, yes. So, the Baron says, get busy, find the starter car commander, and let's set things in motion. Nefud turns around and hurries away. And at this point in time, the Baron is just kind of happy with himself. This is we're gonna make it out okay of this. Sure, it's not gonna be the exact plan I wanted, but it will be okay. He reaches behind a drapery beside his dispenser bed and presses a button that summons his older nephew, Raban, the Beast.
The Beast.
Yep, the Beast Raban. But of course, as he's waiting, the Baron thinks that, of course, the stupid guard captain is right. Nothing survives a storm.
Of course.
So it's funny how like he's just making him sweat this whole time, and of course he was like, "Oh yeah, nah, they're definitely dead." The woman and the boys are dead. The bribes are in the right place. The unthinkable expenditure to bring overwhelming military force down on one planet. All the sly reports tailored for the Emperor's ears. All the careful scheming were here at last coming to full fruition. Power and fear. Fear and power. And then he's projecting how one day there will be a Harkonnen that sits on the throne. Not himself or no spawn that he has, but a Harkonnen nonetheless. And it probably will happen in his life. Maybe not his lifetime, but it may in the distant future.
Right.
And he wants that person to be Feyd-Rautha.
Right.
Raban's younger brother, who we met in chapter 2.
Right. I remember that.
The kid who was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So we still have like the shield in front of the door shield, and we see Raban come up. And he says, my Lord Baron. And we get this full description of what the beast Raban looks like. He had the Harkonnen paternal line of narrow-set eyes, bulge of shoulders. He was low-built, gross of face and body. He still had some rigidity in his fat. But it was obvious to the eye he'd come one day to the portable suspensors for the carrying of his excess weight. He's muscle-minded and tank-brained.
So like a little Baron.
Yeah, like a little Baron.
Gross.
But not as cunning. He's just, he's a brick.
Right.
He's meant to do one thing.
He's a hammer. All he knows how to do is smash things. The Baron's
Yes.
a little trickier.
He knows how to wield the hammer.
Whoa.
And he's about to wield Raban in a way to get what he wants.
Yeah.
So Raban says, you summoned me. He steps into the room and flicked a glance past an air disturbance of his body shield and searched for a chair. And he found none.
Power move. Just like a power move that the Baron learned at a conference at Hilton Head. Like,
if you want to have power in the room, make sure there are no chairs.
some show where they're like, you just give somebody like, oh, you want a cigar? And you give them a little tiny baby skinny cigar and you smoke a big fat long cigar to put people in their place.
That's exactly it. Well, he does the same thing with the shield. So he lets the shield door down, but he keeps his full shield on, his personal shield on at full blast so you can see the glimmering of it. Like, I'll let you inside my circle, but
not near
I'm
me.
still wearing a shield. Right.
Yeah. And he did it
Like,
so that
oh.
you could see the shield, like very
On purpose.
purposefully. So whack.
We can all agree that Baron Vladimir Harkonnen is an awful person. The Beast Raban advances one more step, thinking the damn old man deliberately removed all the chairs, forcing anybody to stand. So the Baron then lays out the plan. The Atreides are dead, and that's why I've summoned you here to Arrakis. The planet is yours. Raban blinks, visibly confused. But I thought you were going to give it to Piter. Piter is dead too, the Baron says. Piter? Piter. The Baron reactivated the door field, and it blanked against the energy penetration. But the door is back on. So Raban's like, so you finally got tired of him, eh? His voice fell flat. Yeah, bad move. As much as they like hated each other and were constantly bickering like an old married couple back and forth about how they're going to kill each other, you still need the Mentat.
Right. And like Raban is kind of like, hey, so what's up, Uncle? You got sick of that guy? And the Baron's like, we're not friends. Like, don't talk to me like that. We're not there yet, okay?
I may be giving you the planet, but we're not close. No. The Baron says, I will say a thing, insinuate that I obliterated Piter as one obliterates a trifle. He snapped his fat fingers. Just like that, huh? I'm not. I will take it unkindly if you ever suggest by word or action that I am ever so stupid.
Ugh, so tense.
Forgive me, Lord Baron, Raban said. He lowered his eyes to hide his own anger, as much as to show the subservience of the moment. The Baron says, I make a point. Never obliterate a man unthinkingly the way an entire fief might do. Thorough some due process of law. Always do it for an overriding purpose. And you know your purpose. And this is where Raban goes, so what about Yui, huh? You obliterated the traitor. I saw his body being carried out the night I arrived. The Baron smiled. I'm very careful about my dangerous weapons. Dr. Yui was a traitor. He gave me the Duke. Strength poured into the Baron's voice. I suborned a doctor of a Suk school, the inner school, you hear, boy? But that's a wild sort of weapon to leave lying about. I didn't obliterate him casually. Okay, question. Did the Baron really subdue the doctor? Who really subdued the doctor? Was it him that did it, or was it Piter's plan that did it? Was it Piter who got him to move against his wife? Because in that interaction with Kine, or with Yui, it felt like the Baron didn't even remember how he got him there. I was like, oh yeah, you're Wanna. May you join her. Like,
Right.
Did he really do that, or is he just feeling the power and taking credit?
I mean,
I don't know.
He at least funded the operation. So in a way, he did it, like.
It's like when you're working for a boss, whatever, and you have a good idea, but you always remember that like the boss funds everything, so you have to make it his idea for it to actually work.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like whoever has the money is actually in charge, never the person who says they're in charge.
Right. It's like you can be a really great chef and have creative abilities, but once you create a dish in a restaurant, it's the restaurant's dish, not yours. So you can't just go to a different restaurant and make the same dish.
Yeah, follow the money. Yeah, Follow the money. So there's one thing that the Baron wants Raban to do. Besides keep it secret that Yui was the traitor, or that the Emperor and the Sardaukar were used. He says, I give you different instructions about Arrakis. This time, nephew. When you last ruled this place, I held you in strong reign. This time, I have one requirement. The Beast Raban replies, my lord. And the Baron says, income. Income? Have you any idea, Raban, how much we spent to bring such a military force to bear on the Atreides? Do you ever even... Do you have even the first inkling of how much the guild charges for military transport? Is it expensive? Expensive! The Baron shot a fat worm toward Raban. If you squeeze Arrakis for every cent it can give us for 60 years, you'll barely repay us. Raban opened his mouth, about to speak, but decided to close it instead. Expensive, the Baron sneered. That damn guild monopoly on space would have ruined us if I hadn't planned for this expense long ago. You should know, Raban, that we bore the entire brunt of it. We paid for the transport of the Sardaukar. And not for the first time, the Baron wondered if there ever would come a day when the guild might be circumvented. They were insidious, bleeding off just enough to keep the host from objecting until they had you in their fist where they could force you to pay and pay and pay. It's that guild, man. They know they're in charge of who transports through space. They are. They're the only ones who can see it. So the Baron continued to lower his arm and make it a fist. You must squeeze. He wants the income. We need the spice. Now, why do you think that he needs the money now?
Well, to make up for all the money that he just spent on the attack, plus he just lost a bunch of spice before the attack, right? So his profits are way down right now. And if he wants to continue with this level of scheming, he's gonna need the money. Right?
Definitely. Yeah. So right before this attack, there was an Atreides suicide attack on Gedi Prime, and they took out a bunch of spice reserves.
Right.
So the Baron cleared everything out for this one attack. And of course, this attack on the Atreides not only gets rid of the Duke, secures him back Arrakis, but he's definitely doing a power play to aim for the Imperial seat. So this is like his big move is to take Arrakis. So then he's talking about, well, can I have the weapons? Right? Can I use what can you got? You brought in some cannons. What can I keep? What can I not keep? If I'm gonna exploit a population and try to get as much income as possible, what do you have to work with?
Right, because he just gave Raban like free reign. Like, do whatever you want as long as you squeeze, as long as you get all the income out. And he's like, okay, whatever I want. Does that like, so can I have this? Can I do bit? He's like really pushing his luck with like, what can I get away with here? You know?
Yeah. And so the Baron's like, you will have no such need for such toys. We just brought them here. And besides, they don't work against shields, Raban. They were just unexpected to get the Duke's men, you know, in this to get them off. And so then he goes, so then Raban says, the Fremen don't use shields. And the Baron says, you may keep some laser guns if you wish. Fine. You can keep the extra weaponry there. Yes, my lord. And I have a free hand. As long as you squeeze. Raban's smile was gloating. I understand perfectly. Like, this is what Raban was made to do. He was made to hurt populations to get them to do. He's a perfect slave driver.
Right.
Ugh. And this is where the Baron says, "No, you actually don't understand what I'm asking. Let us have it clear at the outset. What you do understand is how to carry out my orders. Has it occurred to you, nephew, there are at least 5 million people on this planet? Does my lord forget that I was the regent here before? And if my lord forgive me, his estimate may be low. It's difficult to count the population scattered among the sinks and pans the way they are here. And when you consider the Fremen aren't worth considering." The Baron like rumbles. And Raban has a good point here. Like, if he has been here for a while, he does know how to count his people. And why wouldn't you count the Fremen? They're still people, but the Baron thinks otherwise. And you know who else thinks they're people? The Sardaukar. The Sardaukar like killing Fremen.
They learned the hard way that the Fremen like killing Sardaukar.
And that's also true. That's probably why they like the challenge, but the Baron still doesn't see that, which we're very happy about, actually. It's his big blind spot. Because Raban says there's been reports of a Fremen band ambushing a Sardaukar force and was wiped out. And then the Baron's like, wiped out a Sardaukar force? Yes, my lord, impossible. Raban shrugged. If you don't believe it. Fremen defeating Sardaukar. The Baron sneered. I repeat only what was reported to me, Raban said. And this is the Fremen force already captured the Duke's redoubtable Thufir Hawat. So they're talking about the Fremen who are with Thufir right there.
Right.
And the Baron goes, and he tries to explain, you probably have a misunderstanding here. Those weren't Fremen. Those were Atreides dressed as Fremen, and they could kill Sardaukar. Wink, wink. Yeah, that's what we know.
Totally.
But there's this common misconception, or not misconception. One of the reasons the Emperor wanted to get the Atreides out of the way is because there was rumor that they had a fighting force that could rival the Sardaukar. With the training of Gurney Halleck and Duncan Idaho, and with the coordination of Thufir, they had a force that could rival the Sardaukar, as were the rumors. And I think that's what the Baron is playing off of here. Like, no, only the Atreides can kill Sardaukar. That's why we got rid of them. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
But Raban still thinks, you know what, it could be the Fremen. Like, But we know what we should do is we should keep the Sardaukar occupied since they're here. And they enjoy killing the Fremen. Just let them go kill the Fremen. Have a good, hunting spree.
Right.
Let them see what happens. My lord, Raban hesitated, frowning. I've always felt that we underestimated the Fremen. Ignore, both the numbers and ignore them, boy. They're rabble. What? So he's like, I'm not real concerned with the Fremen. And again, the Baron's like, no. The Atreides, they were the ones who can do it. They were the ones that's why we're getting rid of them. And we'll make sure no one knows the Sardaukar are here. Only they know. We'll kill everybody else.
Or at least intimidate everybody else.
Right, we'll pay some people off. We'll be fine. And Raban says, well, what about the smugglers? Right? And then no one believes the smugglers, Raban.
Fair.
They're tolerated, but not believed. At any rate, you'll be spreading some bribes in the quarter and taking other measures, which I'm sure you can think of. Yes, my lord. There are two things from Arrakis, then, Raban. Income and a merciless fist. Show no mercy. Think of these clods as what they are. Slaves envious of their masters, waiting for the opportunity to rebel. Not the slightest vestige of pity or mercy you must show them. And the Raban's like, wait, you want me to kill the whole planet? I'm confused. Exterminate? No. Who said anything about extermination? And then Raban's like, well, I presumed you were going to bring more people in to work the spice, if you want me to like be so merciless. I said, squeeze, nephew, not intimidate. Don't waste a population, merely drive them into submission. He smiled, a baby's expression on the dimple fat face.
Why?
A carnivore never stops. Show no mercy, never stop. It can be defeated by the stomach rumbling in its hunger, by a throat crying in its thirst. You must always be hungry and thirsty. The Baron's caresses his bulges beneath the suspensors, like me.
Oh, that's so yucky.
It's okay. He's just got this thing for excess and gluttony. Yeah, and he's probably got all the 7 deadly sins if we go into it. But
Ooh, interesting.
you probably find them all in there in the Baron. So then we think, so it's all unclear then, my nephew, except for one thing. The uncle, the planetologist, Kynes. Ah, yes, Kynes. He's the emperor, man, my lord. He can come and go as he pleases. He's very close to the Fremen. He married one. Kynes will be dead tomorrow, nightfall. That's dangerous work, uncle. Like, let me tell you, I know what's dangerous work. You shouldn't go killing that guy. And then the Baron, how do you think we've come this far so quickly? Besides, you never need to fear the Kynes would leave Arrakis. You forget he's addicted to the spice.
True.
Which is the same point that Paul made up a few chapters back. Him and Jessica can't leave.
Right.
Because they're going to become addicted to the spice. Unless you decide to take the spice with you.
Ooh.
And that's much more expensive. So we just got to find out how the spice is made, and then we can take that with us. Spoilers. All right, moving on. Like major spoilers. Yeah, it's okay. Moving on. Yes. So, basically, that's where he goes. That's what's going on. Our Sublime Emperor has charged me with taking possession of this planet and end all dispute, the Baron says. So that's what he's going to do. This time, you sure do. We will discuss it in more detail tomorrow. Now, leave me to finish my sleep. The Baron deactivated the door field, whoop, and watched the nephew walked out of sight. The tank brain, the Baron thought. Muscle-minded tank brain. There'll be a bloody pulp here when he's through with them. Then when I send in Feyd-Rautha to let the load off them, they'll cheer him their rescuer. Beloved Feyd-Rautha, benign Feyd-Rautha, the compassionate who saves them from a beast. Feyd-Rautha, a man to follow and die for. The boy will know that the time, how to oppress with impunity. I'm sure he's the one we need. He'll learn, and he's such a lovely boy. With a lovely, lovely body. Ugh, and that ends chapter, chapter 26.
Dude, the Baron is so gross in every way.
Yeah. I mean, and he's got a thing for Feyd. Probably not just a admiration thing. Probably a
weird nephew sex thing.
Weird nephew boy sex thing. Not right. There's the pedophilia in there as well. It's just gross. But that juxtaposes Paul's plan to become emperor. So now we have these two plans. The Harkonnen plan with Feyd to become the emperor, and Paul's plan with the Fremen to become the emperor. These are our two things that are going to come to a head, and who will come out on top here? That is the question.
Yeah, and as far as I can see it so far, it's literally this very clear battle between good and evil. because Paul seems to be coming from the whole Atreides world of righteousness, and righteousness is rewarded with loyalty and love and fealty and all that stuff. And then the Baron is like everything that could possibly be evil, like every way he could possibly do something like dark and nefarious or whatever, he does it, and
Power, fear, manipulation.
exactly. And they're both going after the throne. So it's basically like, what's going to rule the world? Righteousness or violence and greed and darkness? Light versus dark.
Yeah, that is one way you can view this overarching thing. But there are more forces than just Harkonnen and more forces than just Atreides to come at this.
Right.
What does the Guild want? What does the Emperor want? What does the Bene Gesserit want? What do the Fremen want?
Yeah.
And how does this all swirl around in our motives? Yes. But now we know. Yeah, that's where we are. I just love the imagery of the Baron in the middle of everything with like shields upon everything else is moving outward. How he's just sitting there in this little cradle, literally a cradle, like suspended in air, holding him up. And how that's his safe place where he tells other people to go do bad things. But whereas you have Paul who rushes into the storm that would ultimately kill anybody else. But yeah, okay, thus ends chapter 26. We are so thankful for everyone who watched us live, who listened in. It is incredibly, incredibly amazing to have all of you here. Also, you know what? If you want to hit us up on Twitter, do that at Reading Dune. We've got a lovely little Twitter following there. Got a little avid community of Dune readers, and we like too cool Dune stuff on there. And also email us at readingdune@gmail.com. And also, if you want to be on the show, we would love to know your favorite moment in Dune. Send us an audio recording, a video at readingdune@gmail.com. Come be on the show. It will be awesome. Thank you, as always, for reading Dune with us. And remember, stay spicy.
Stay spicy, everyone. Bye-bye.